Dang, this guy's already back with another video. Listen, shut the fuck. This is what we're getting into today. Chivalry 2 subclass tier list. I've been playing since launch. I absolutely love this game. It's way better than Mordhau. Before any of you guys start fucking hating. Way better than Mordhau. Yeah, I said it. What are you gonna do, huh? What are you gonna do? Made a tier list for you guys today. My first subclass tier list, and many more to come as more patches come out. And this tier list is right after the new patch 2.1.0 with the new Galencourt map, or whatever it's called. Galencourt, crippling anxiety, whatever the fuck it is. Listen, it's a pretty map. They're getting hard at work. They're working their butts off over there in that Torn Banner studio. They're getting hard at work. But I bounced this tier list off of other dozens of community members who also play Civ 2. And through my own trial and error, like I said, I've been playing since launch, hundreds of hours, as you can see. My credentials.
What?
Anyway, without further ado, you know what? Let's just get into this. You know what I'm saying? Listen, without further ado, here's the tier list. All the subclasses are on there. I'm gonna start from top to bottom. It's in top to bottom order and also left to right. The closer to the left they are, the higher they are.
The candy back. I ain't not buying your Oh, fuck me right in the ass. Oh.
So we got the Raider as the #1 subclass in the game. The Raider has a lot of eggs in his basket. He has 2 primaries, allows for throwing, which is really good. It gives him a lot of flexibility in mid-range combat and high damage output. That freedom he has of throwing can do a lot of damage where others can't. He can pick off and steal many kills for all you people who like to steal. He has really good weapons. The Danax is highly underrated. It's a really good weapon. It's fast and does great damage, and it can do like 130 to 150 damage point blank throw. And he also has the Messer, you know, other really high damage weapons. And he also has the best perk in the game, which is the Horn. You're going to see in this tier list, people with the Horn are going to have they're going to be higher up on the tier list, and that's just because they're horny bastards, I'm telling you. No, but seriously, I'm going to say it right now, the Horn or the Trumpet is the best perk in the game for sure. And that's because it's you heal all of your allies around you for really good health, and it's instant, unlike the Banner. You can use it whenever you want as well. If you want to go in for an ambush, if you want to defend the front line, if you're about to clash with the front line, it's extremely flexible. And honestly, a DPS character like the Raider has no business wielding such a power like that. It should be left for like a tank or something like that. And now look what you got. You got a class that's really good at DPS, and now he can heal his buddies in battle. Like, are you kidding me? He's definitely top tier. Up next, the second best subclass in the game is the Officer, hands down. He's tanky, so he can take a few hits. He has really good heavy frontlining weapons. He also has the long sword, which is a very balanced weapon. He has the war axe, the heavy mace, I forgot what else, but they're all really good weapons for the front line, to hold the front line. And they do great damage. They might be a little slow, but they still do good damage. They're very well balanced weapons. Kudos to him. Not only that, but he has the best perk or ability in the game, again, which is the Warhorn. So, like I said, second best class in the game. He has a lot of eggs in his basket, just like the Raider does. He almost ties with the Raider, I'd say, but he's very slightly under the Raider, just because the Raider has a lot more flexibility and a lot less clunky. Rounding off the top 3, we have the Guardian, the third best class in the game. He's very tanky and durable with the heavy shield, so he's very good at frontlining, along with the second best ability or perk in the game, which is the Banner, and that's also really good for frontlining. So this guy is just like a behemoth of a tank. He's a frontliner. He's really good at that. There's not much else to say other than that. He's great. He's tanky. His weapons aren't bad. They kind of lack compared to others, but it adds some flexibility. If you wanted a great one-handed build or a one-handed subclass, definitely go for the Man-at-Arms. If you want to only do good at one-handed weapons, but if you want somebody that's really good at tanking, frontlining, helping the team out, which is what's important in Civ 2, the Guardian is a great subclass for that, and there's a reason he's in the top 3 in the whole game. Number 4, we have the Man-at-Arms, so we're still in the top 5. So this
one day you will have to answer for your actions, and God may not be so merciful.
This is still, I guess you could say, cream of the crop subclasses. Man-at-Arms is extremely flexible in combat, one of the most flexible in the entire game. Maybe probably one of the most flexible along with the Raider. He can hit faster than two-handed weapons, and he can dodge really fast. He has the best dodging in the game. So he's very flexible. With his shield and his healing perk, the bandage kit, he can be a great utilitarian mixed fighter. He has a very high skill ceiling. He can pretty much handle any situation with ease. A lot of people shy away from one-handed subclasses or one-handed characters, and that's because two-handed ones are much bigger. They do more damage. They're more satisfying. All that kind of stuff. Listen, the man at arms is some good. He's a good subclass. He's a very good fighter and very utilitarian. Really good combatant. His shield gives him some tankiness. So he's very well balanced. He's really good. Rounding off the top 5, number 5 is the Devastator. He's still a top tier class. He has powerful, bone crushing top tier, high DPS output weapons. He's a night crusher. He can kill many with no agility restriction. Yeah, he has the Maul, which is like pretty much one of the only weapons in the game. I think the only melee in the non-ranged weapon in the game that can one hit a knight. That Maul is insane. And Greatsword has good range. It does good damage in that good range. The Executioner's Axe is a very loved weapon. It's very good. The Battle Axe is just a killing human eater weapon, and he just has really top tier weapons that make up for a lot. His perk is okay. The Fire Pot, it's not an amazing perk. It's situationally well. It's good against the Prisoner or Dukes. You can hold down chokes with it really well, but otherwise it's hard to pop off. Devastator, top tier, still really good. Next we have the Crusader, number 6. He teeters between like top tier and like really good, or just good. He has powerful high DPS weapons. Oh my god, I'm about to have a heart attack. Ooh. Excuse me. His high DPS top tier weapons. His perk is okay, like I said earlier with the Devastator. The Fire Pot is situationally good. But you know what? You should pick the Devastator if you want to play that kind of archetype or that kind of class of like top tier damage, bone crushing heavy arm damage. The Devastator, you probably want to go for him instead of the Crusader. That's why the Crusader sits just under the Devastator, because the Devastator doesn't get any movement penalty or a stamina penalty from his weapons, whereas the Crusader does. Also, the Devastator has the ability to do his sprint attacks, whereas the Crusader can't do that. He has to do the really slow wind up to do those heavy hits. So that's one thing. Crusader still very good, very good though. He's the ultimate bruiser. You can frontline with him. He's tanky, and he has really high damage weapons. So he's definitely like one of the cooler, definitely one of the top 3 coolest subclasses. High damage weapons similar to the Devastator. He has the Battle Axe, which is a great weapon. Executioner Axe, where people love that weapon. You know, one of those really long range, high swinging weapons where you can just like in one stroke get 3 heads off or something like that. People love it. The Messer obviously is high demand. People love the Messer like it's Jesus Christ. It's a pretty meta weapon too. He has the two-handed hammer. It's a good weapon. Yeah. Next we have the Poleman, another really good subclass. We're still in very good subclasses. These are all still A tier and S tier. Great utility to assist the front line with his very high range. He has like some of the best range in the game. His long range weapons give him a lot of free hits and can support his fellow tanks in the front line to keep the enemies at bay. You know, the halberd is great. It's just the top tier weapon, that halberd. You can stab and it does great damage, or you can do your swing that has really good range and keep a bunch of enemies at bay. And then that two-handed spear, or should I say the only spear. Yeah, they took that one-handed spear away. How does that feel, you little? Two-handed spear is so good. You can get so many free hits off of it. I heard somebody say it's an absolute cheese weapon. I couldn't agree with them more. It's a really good weapon. Plus, like all footmen, they have like 150 health or something like that, which is almost out of a tank. His bandage kit is okay. It's an okay perk. Not terrible, but you can still help the team out with it. If all footmen are trying really hard to get bandages on people, it's not bad. It's just not as reliable as the trumpet/horn or the banner. So it isn't a terrible perk, but it's okay. So great frontliner, utilitarian, very utilitarian. Really good weapons, still A tier. Next, under the Poleman, you have the Crossbowman and the Longbowman. Crossbowman being better. Crossbowman still a really good class. The damage and the high skill ceiling can make up for a lot of the archer's drawbacks, which is archers being really squishy. You know, they can get killed in like 2 hits. The easy to get ambushed, they're caught off guard, and the fact that they have a high skill ceiling in general. But the crossbow damage is very top tier. One of the best damaging weapons in the game if you know how to aim. That's why I say high skill ceiling. It's hard to get good at the crossbow, but once you do, you can pop all those hits off. You can literally get kills up the ass, and you can top the charts for sure. shot to the head is almost can nearly one hit a knight, and it's a very, very high damage weapon. It's really good. Plus, the Crossbowman has the banner, which is the second best perk in the game to help his allies. Why is a little weak, little ranged character having a banner to help his friends? That is like so good for him. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't be in the A tier, he'd be B. So that's really good. But like I said, he's an archer in the end of the day, so he's really squishy, which is low health and easy to get ambushed or caught off guard, and the high skill ceiling. But if you get around that, you can still do really good with the crossbowman. Next, we have the Longbowman, which is what I would say a mid-tier, slightly above the mid-tier subclass. He's under the crossbowman for sure. He's definitely not better than the crossbowman. He's good, but he's not incredible. The longbow's damage and skill ceiling, just like the crossbowman, can make up for a lot of the archer's drawbacks. If you know how to aim, you can get a lot of hits off, and you can actually get a lot of kills. So there's that. You can do kind of well, but high skill ceiling. The brazier can do really good DPS if you're skilled, like I said, but it doesn't really help out the team. The brazier is definitely one of the worst perks in the game because it's a little selfish in a team fighting game. So that, and just like the crossbowman, in all archers, he's very squishy. He's easy to get ambushed, caught off guard, that kind of thing. So mid tier, he's okay. And I know a lot of you people be hating on them archers. Listen, I'm not a big fan of them either, but you gotta give them some credit. They can kick some ass if they know what they're doing. Yeah, that's right, you archers. You guys are so discriminated against, and you know, it's kind of weird for me to protect you guys, but I'm telling you guys right now, you guys aren't bad. There can be way worse in this world, I'm telling you right now, and which we're gonna get into. Now we are approaching the bottom of the barrel. Not very good classes in this game, which is only actually 3 classes, 3 subclasses. Most of them are very well balanced, except for these 3 right here. We have the ambusher under the longbowman. His class lacks, unfortunately. His weapons are really weak, small. The backstab damage is good, and actually he can do some of the best damage in the game if he can backstab, but it's really hard to pop off or set up his ambushes or backstabs or assassinations, as you say. He can do some good plays like ambushing archers, but he's, like I said, overall lackluster to the team in general. It's a frontlining battle game, not a stealth game. You know, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight almost. It's hard for him to pop off and get behind that back line. Other classes could perhaps do a better job at that anyway. So there's not much else to say other than he's pretty lackluster, doesn't really help out the team much. This is a team game, so frontliners are really top tier, whereas something like a stealth class isn't. And you know, I'm not going to hate on Torn Banner for making an ambusher. In fact, they should. They do need to put a stealthy class. What game where you can pick classes doesn't have a ninja class, an assassin class? You need it in every game, just unfortunately in the Chivalry 2 or just the Chivalry formula, or maybe you could even say medieval army formula or battle formula, large battle formula. Assassins don't really work well, so there's that. Second to last worst class in the game or subclass, field engineer. He's pretty bad. The whole idea behind the field engineer is that he's supposed to be this utilitarian obstacle maker. The issue is that the obstacles in this game are pretty terrible. They only are a minor convenience to the enemy. You can put up 2 walls and a bear trap, that kind of stuff, and really it sucks. It's terrible. That and his weapons are garbage as well. People love the shovel. It's not as good as people think it is. The range is terrible, and it's a blunt weapon at that. And the sledge is garbage. Whatever the other one is, it's terrible. He could probably do this cool thing I've seen on a subreddit with his obstacles, where he can block the prisoner from getting on the boat, and you can pop that off, and that's pretty dope. There's probably something else you can do like that somewhere on a map, but other than that, the obstacles suck, and that's pretty much what he's good at. He's pretty bad. If you want to be utilitarian support character, play Poleman or Man at Arms. Those are really good classes. There's also other subclasses in this game that can do obstacles as well. Last but not least, actually pretty least, he's pretty garbage. The Skirmisher, he's terrible. I'm telling you guys, he's terrible. Whatever you want to do with him, other subclasses can do a way better job. First, let's talk about the javelin. It sucks. You only have 5 javelins per life, and then you have to go back to the ammo box to refill. Or you can use your quiver, but that comes around every now and then because it's an ability, and it gives you, I think, like 10, which is okay, but it comes around every now and then. You have to go back to the ammo crate so many times because you only have 5 of them. You're supposed to be an archer. So if you want to do ranged, pick the crossbowman or the longbowman. Those are good subclasses. The skirmisher is terrible at being a ranged fighter. The whole idea with him is to be like this close, mid-ranged, mixed fighter where he can throw javelins but also come up and stab you with it, or uses like falchion or sword or whatever, which is stupid because the archer in general is very squishy. They can get hit twice and they die. Why am I gonna go up close and fight a behemoth of a tank with a war axe with 80 health? I don't want to do that as an archer, so definitely pick the crossbowman or longbowman over the skirmisher. And if you want to do close range, pretty much all those other subclasses are better than the skirmisher at that. So yeah, skirmisher's pretty garbage. His perk just gives him more javelins too. It's like he's absolutely terrible. Worst subclass in the game. He's bad. Let's be clear though, who's the real #1 in the game? There you guys go, the subclass tier list for 2.1.0. I'm going to be making more of these in the future, and I would hope that you guys enjoyed it. Maybe you could subscribe and like more as more patches come out and that kind of stuff. Buffs are going to happen, nerfs are going to happen, and metas are going to change. And I'm going to stick around for the long run. I'm passionate about the game. The developers did so good on the game, and I've been waiting for it forever. And I really appreciate them for making such a great game. And before you guys hate on them, by the way, the team is only, I think, 19 members or something like that. They haven't had any days off since the launch. For all of you complaining about whatever it is, honestly, there's not much to complain about. You guys, people just love to complain, honestly. Cut them some slack. It's a 19-person team. You can't expect them to make a perfect game. It takes an army to make a really good game. So give them respect, and please stick around if you enjoyed it. I'm going to be making more tier lists in the future. I've been around since day one, so thank you guys so much for watching. More Chivalry 2 content coming out, more funny stuff coming out, more informative stuff coming out. If you guys need any sort of informative videos, some advice, some tips, all that kind of stuff, stick around, because I am going to drop some fucking knowledge on you guys, on you cool cats. Thank you.